Before the first light cracks the horizon, before the world stirs from its slumber, there exists a silent, sovereign space. This is the most critical moment of your day, and right now, you are probably surrendering it. You reach for the dopamine drip of a screen. You feed your mind a breakfast of other people's crises, curated illusions of perfection, and an avalanche of demands. Before your feet even touch the floor, you have invited anxiety, comparison, and reactivity into the sanctum of your mind. You have, without a shot being fired, lost the first and most important battle of the day. But what if I told you there was an ancient weapon, a psychological shield forged in the fires of Roman war rooms, polished in the silent studies of Athenian philosophers, and proven on the brutal battlefields of modern life? This weapon is not a physical tool. It is a protocol of thought, a sequence of mental commands that, when deployed in the first fragile minutes of your morning, can reprogram your entire day from defensive survival to deliberate mastery. For the next hour, we are going beyond inspiration. We are engaging in cognitive reconstruction. We are going to install what the Stoics called prohoresis, your fundamental faculty of choice. This is the core of you that cannot be touched by chaos. We will fortify it with 10 unbreakable declarations. These are not mere affirmations you whisper hopefully. These are edicts you proclaim as the ruler of your own inner kingdom. This is the ritual of the mental Spartan. It is how you build apatheia, not apathy, but freedom from destructive, enslaving passions. It is how you cultivate eudaimonia, a flourishing life of purpose, on your own terms. If you are tired of being a weather vane spun by every wind of circumstance, if you are ready to become the anchor, the stable center around which the storm rages in vain, then lock in. This is your training manual for unshakable inner strength. I am responsible for how today feels. This is the bedrock principle, the cornerstone of all mental freedom. To understand its radical power, you must first see the prison most people live in, the prison of external locus of control. They believe their emotional state is caused by the outside world. My boss made me stressed. The traffic ruined my mood. The news made me anxious. This is a subtle, seductive lie. It relieves you of short-term blame, but enslaves you in long-term powerlessness. Viktor Frankl, in The Living Hell of the Concentration Camps, made a discovery that would echo through eternity. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. They took everything from him, his clothes, his dignity, his family, but they could not take that space. That space is your throne room. When you declare, I am responsible for how today feels, you are not saying you are to blame for every bad thing that happens. You are claiming ownership of that sacred space between what happens and what you feel. You are dethroning the external world as the dictator of your inner state and crowning yourself the sovereign. This is the first hard step of the warrior. It is uncomfortable because it removes all your excuses, but in that discomfort is your power. Practice this. When a negative emotion arises today, do not say, "This is making me angry." Say, I am choosing to respond with anger to this. Feel the shift in agency. This declaration each morning wires this truth into your nervous system. It is the end of emotional victimhood and the beginning of emotional craftsmanship. Nothing can disturb my peace without my permission. Imagine your mind as a still, clear pond. Every external event is a pebble. Some pebbles are small, a missed bus, a sharp email. Some are boulders, a significant loss, a betrayal. The default reaction is to let every pebble, every boulder splash into your pond, rippling and churning the water until you can see nothing but the disturbance. Your piece becomes a reflection of the chaos thrown at it. This declaration builds a filter, a sieve. It says, I will assess the pebble before I allow it into my waters. Marcus Aurelius, while governing an empire besieged by war, disease, and treachery, wrote this command to himself. Today I shall be meeting with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness, but I will not be disturbed by any of them. He anticipated the pebbles. He decided in advance which ones would be granted the power to disrupt his inner citadel. The practice here is cognitive distancing. When a potential disturbance arises, you create a pause. In that pause, you ask the Stoic question, is this thing within my control? If it is not, which someone else's opinion, a past mistake, a future worry almost always is, you consciously deny it permission to enter. You say, I see you, but you may not pass. This is not suppression, it is selective engagement. You conserve the energy of your soul for what truly matters, your judgments, your values, your actions. Guard the gate of your mind with the ferocity of a Spartan at Thermopylae. Today, I focus only on what I can control. Human suffering is largely a product of focus misplaced. Epictetus drew the circle of control not as a mild suggestion, but as the fundamental map to a tranquil life. Let's make this brutally practical. Your circle of control, the inner citadel. Your effort and energy. Your opinions and judgments, your values and character, your actions and reactions, your speech and commitments. Your circle of influence, the outer walls. Your relationships, you can act with virtue but not control the other. Your projects, you can work but not guarantee the outcome. Your health, you can practice discipline but not avoid all illness. The vast outer world, no man's land. The past and the future, other people's thoughts, opinions, and actions. The weather, the economy, the political climate, luck, chance, and fortune. Most people exhaust themselves building fortifications in no man's land, trying to control the uncontrollable, while their inner citadel crumbles from neglect. Anxiety is the tax you pay on this misplaced focus. This declaration is a strategic order. It commands your attention, the most powerful force you possess, to retreat from the uncontrollable and fortify the controllable. Each morning ask, where will my attention go today? Will I waste it on headlines I cannot change, or invest it in the discipline I can build? Will I obsess over a rival's success, or dedicate my focus to my own craft? This is the focus that builds empires, inner and outer. 4. My worth is not measured by today's outcomes. Here is the silent epidemic, conditional self-worth. We have been taught to score our value on a daily scoreboard: productivity, likes, salary, social status, wins and losses. This turns you into a psychological stock market, crashing and soaring with every piece of external data. It is exhausting and utterly fragile. Seneca, facing his own forced suicide, wrote, A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions. But he meant the ambition toward virtue, wisdom, courage, and justice, internal qualities, not the ambition for external rewards. Your worth is propositional. It is a statement of fact. I am a rational, moral being capable of growth and choice. That is true if you are wealthy or poor, praised or criticized, healthy or sick. Separate your performance from your identity. You are not a failure if you fail at a task. You are a being who experienced a setback. You are not a genius if you succeed. You are a being who executed effectively. This detachment is your liberation. It allows you to play the game of life with intense effort but loose attachment. You can risk more because your core self is not on the line. You can learn from failure more easily because it does not define you. Every morning, declare your inherent worth. Feel it in your bones. Then go into the arena and fight for your goals, not to prove your worth, but to express it. 5. I will act, not just intend. The path to hell is paved with tomorrow. The someday fantasy is the opiate of the undisciplined mind. The Stoics were not philosophers of contemplation alone. They were philosophers of the deed. Marcus Aurelius, amidst the crushing duty of empire, would drag himself from bed with this remorseless command: get up. Do what you were made to do. Do the work of a human being. Action is the antidote to anxiety. Action is the language of the real world. Intention is a ghost. This declaration murders the ghost and brings forth the substance. We must understand the neuroscience of procrastination. It is a pain avoidance mechanism. Your brain perceives the start of a difficult task as a threat, so it seeks the immediate pleasure of distraction. The I will act declaration is a pre-commitment device. It bypasses the feeling. It creates a rule. When the time comes, I move. The technique is micro-action. You are not committing to writing a book. You are committing to writing one sentence. You are not committing to a 2-hour workout. You are committing to putting on your shoes. Action generates momentum. Momentum generates a new identity. I am a person who acts. Do not seek the perfect plan. Seek the immediate, imperfect step. Move. The path will reveal itself to the walking feet. Every challenge is a chance to grow stronger. Life is not a vacation. It is a training ground. The Stoic principle of amor fati, the love of fate, is not passive resignation. It is the active, enthusiastic embrace of everything that happens as raw material for your development. The fire that melts butter forges steel. Which will you be? James Stockdale did not survive 7 years of torture by hoping it would end. He survived by asking, what is this moment demanding of me? What virtue can I practice here? Can I endure this with honor? He saw his prison camp as the ultimate classroom for courage, integrity, and resilience. Reframe your hierarchy of experience. Stop labeling events as good or bad. Label them as training. A frustrating colleague is training in patience and communication. A financial setback is training in resourcefulness and detachment from materialism. A period of loneliness is training in self-reliance and inner depth. When you make this declaration each morning, you pre-armor your mind. You welcome the day's difficulties as sparring partners. You stop asking the childish question, why me, and start asking the warrior's question, what does this obstacle make possible? What strength is it forcing me to develop? This turns you from a victim of circumstance into an alchemist of adversity, transforming leaden events into golden character. 7. I will not compare my journey to anyone else's. Comparison is the poison of the modern soul. It is the theft of your unique destiny. Social media is a global comparison engine, but the disease is ancient. Epictetus saw it. He is a great man who uses earthenware dishes as if they were silver, and he is equally great who uses silver as if it were earthenware. His point? Your peace depends on your own standard, not another's possession. You are running a race with no other competitors. Your only benchmark is your past self. When you compare, you make a fatal logical error. You are comparing your full, messy, internal reality, which you know, to someone else's external, curated highlight reel, which you see. You are comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20. This declaration is a vow of fidelity to your own path. Your timeline is unique. Your burdens are unique. Your gifts are unique. The universe is not wasting your time. The delays, the detours, they are often the curriculum. What looks like a slower path may be building a more resilient foundation. Practice this. When you feel the pang of comparison, immediately redirect. Say, I am on my path. Their success inspires me. It does not indict me. Then immediately take one small action that moves your plan forward. Use the energy of comparison as fuel for your own journey, not as an anchor to drag you down.
8. I choose discipline over motivation. Motivation is a myth sold to the masses. It is an emotion, and emotions are temporary visitors. Discipline is identity. It is who you are. The Roman Stoic Cato didn't feel like walking barefoot in the cold to harden himself. He did it because it was just to be strong. He had married his behavior to his values, not his feelings. Understand this. Discipline is self-love in action. It is the promise you make to your future self. When you choose the salad over the pizza, you are not restricting yourself. You are loving the future version of you who will be healthy and vibrant. When you choose the early morning study session over the extra hour of sleep, you are loving the future version of you who will be knowledgeable and skilled. This declaration is the death of excuses. I don't feel like it becomes irrelevant. The question shifts from how do I feel to what does my commitment require? Discipline is a muscle. Start small. Make your bed impeccably. Keep a tiny promise to yourself. Each kept promise strengthens the muscle of self-trust. Eventually, you build a towering confidence that comes not from talent, but from the proven knowledge that you can count on yourself. You become your own general, and your discipline is the unwavering loyalty of your troops.
9. Gratitude will shape how I see the day. Gratitude is not a Hallmark card sentiment. It is a sophisticated cognitive technology for reality management. Your brain has a built-in negativity bias, a survival mechanism that scans for threats. In the modern world, this creates a chronic sense of lack and danger. Gratitude is the deliberate reprogramming of that scan. It forces your reticular activating system to search for evidence of abundance, safety, and opportunity. The Stoic practice of premeditation malorum, or premeditation of evils, was ultimately a gratitude exercise. By imagining the loss of your sight, your freedom, your loved ones, you return to the present moment shocked into gratitude for what you have. This is not about denying real problems. It is about proper context. You can have a painful knee and still be grateful for the other leg that works. You can have a difficult job and still be grateful for the mind that can solve problems. Gratitude grounds you in the fundamental miracles of existence, consciousness, breath, possibility. Make your declarations specific. Don't just say, "I'm grateful." Say, "I am grateful for the quiet of this morning. I am grateful for the strength in my hands. I am grateful for one person who believes in me." This practice doesn't change the facts of your day. It changes the lens through which you view them, and the lens creates your entire world. 10. I will end the day better than I started. This is the compounding principle of the philosophical life. The goal is not the distant, grandiose future. The goal is the infinitesimal improvement of the present moment. Seneca's evening review, his quality control, was what did I do well? Where did I act poorly? What did I learn? This declaration turns every day into a conscious iteration. Did you lose your temper? The day is not a failure if you gained the self-awareness to see the trigger. Did you procrastinate? The day is not wasted if you now have a clearer plan to overcome that resistance tomorrow. This is about closing the loop. You started the morning with declarations of sovereignty. Now you end it with a quiet audit of your stewardship. You are the CEO of You, Inc. This is the daily board meeting. Without this review, life becomes a blur. With it, life becomes a deliberate upward spiral. Ask yourself 3 questions tonight. Where did I uphold my declarations today? Acknowledge and internalize the victory. Where did I falter, and what did it teach me? Extract the lesson without self-flagellation. What one small thing will I do tomorrow to be 1% stronger? Set the next iteration in motion. This is how you build a legacy, not in one heroic leap, but in 10,000 conscious steps. Conclusion. Warrior, this is your new dawn. These 10 declarations are your non-negotiable morning drill. They are the calisthenics of the mind. You will not perform them perfectly. Some mornings you will forget. The chaos will rush in before you can arm yourself. This is not failure. This is part of the training. The moment you remember, you begin again. That is the only discipline that matters, the discipline of return. We are building an army here, not of soldiers who march in lockstep to another's drum, but of sovereign individuals who master their own inner terrain. An army of calm in the chaos, of focus in the noise, of action in the age of distraction. Your likes, your shares, your subscriptions, they are not just metrics, they are signals. They are flares you send up into the digital night, saying, "I am here, I am awake, I am in the fight." They connect this scattered army of minds. So press like to seal this commitment in the digital stone. Comment with the declaration that struck your soul the deepest. Share this with one person whose potential you see, even if they don't. And subscribe, because this channel is your daily garrison. Tomorrow, when the alarm sounds in the gray twilight, you will have a choice. You can reach for the world, or you can first reclaim yourself. Choose wisely, build your fortress, and become unbreakable.